A woman who began to experience coronavirus symptoms in April has opened up about her daily battle with her health over the last 5 months. Kirsty McIntosh, 42, from Nottinghamshire, started to feel unwell in April this year, Nottinghamshire Live reported. After calling 111, an ambulance arrived at her home to treat her. Despite having no temperature and normal oxygen levels, she was so breathless she could barely stand up. Kirsty was not tested for coronavirus at the time she first started to feel unwell. She tested negative later in June when her symptoms worsened, and again in August, when her son came into contact with someone who had the virus. Despite these test results and an array of scans for other medical complications, which came back clear, Kirsty continues to suffer from fatigue, breathlessness, and coughing fits. Are you a long COVID victim? Email webnews@mirror.co.uk. She has not taken an antibody test to see if she may have contracted COVID. As an ex-ambulance service worker, she decided to stay at home with her husband, Andy, and 2 children, Amy and Danny, when she began to feel unwell in April. Her family all self-isolated for 14 days despite not showing symptoms themselves. Kirsty, a keen runner who has completed the London Marathon, has experienced problems with her breathing and fatigue ever since. I had another ambulance out in June as I felt so bad and weak, Kirsty said. I was floppy, I could hardly move, and I was wheezing. I didn't even call 111. My husband took one look at me and called an ambulance. I was great. Since then it's the tight chest, cough and chronic fatigue that is constant. Kirsty was again seen by paramedics, but was not taken to hospital, and a coronavirus test she had ordered to her home came back negative. When she first started to display symptoms in April, only those who were admitted to hospital were tested, although she was told by paramedics seeing her it was obvious she in all likeliness had contracted the virus. Kirsty's husband and they said, every time you think it may be getting better, maybe that's the back of it, she starts to feel really unwell again. Not every day is the same. It's been a long old 3 months. Kirsty is a runner. She ran the London Marathon last year, so there's been a real marked difference from then until now. It's really worrying. Normally you can go to the doctors and they know what to do, but that isn't the case here. Kirsty describes a daily struggle with fatigue, where she experiences a tiredness that is unlike anything she has ever known. Her chest too often feels like it's inhaled a lot of smoke, leading her to cough and feel dizzy. Kirsty has had an X-ray on her chest, lung function tests, and she is currently waiting for blood test results. While everything has so far come back clear, doctors have seen firsthand her 10-minute coughing fits and recognize something is wrong. One doctor has suggested Kirsty, who used to teach Samba classes and was extremely active, has dysfunctional breathing caused by the virus, she said. Kirsty is one of a number of people who have reported persistent symptoms, and MPs have recently called on Boris Johnson to formally recognise the problem and acknowledge it exists. Kirsty has been receiving support in running her business, Little Legs, a wellness centre in West Bridgford. She told Nottinghamshire Live, "I am determined to fight this. I want to get back to running my classes again. I love my little legs business and what it stands for. I get to look after people. Fortunately, I have an incredible team that I cannot thank enough for stepping up and helping me as much as possible. I have had to work extremely hard myself to manage my own mental health, as it can all get very overwhelming some days. It certainly won't beat me. I won't let it. I may not be physically the same again, but I will certainly be mentally stronger and am determined to help others as much as I can to get through these crazy times. Close quote.